Welcome to the YouTube channel Captivating Home, where we take you through the most charming and elegant interior design inspirations across the globe. Today's video brings you into the serene world of a timeless spring house inspired by Ralph Lauren Country Home's Sophistication, brought to life with elegant vintage textures that make every room feel like a step back into a warm, romantic past. If you're drawn to classic beauty and a touch of rustic elegance, you're in for a visual treat. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, so you never miss a journey through the finest home designs. Drop us a comment to tell us which room spoke to your soul, and don't forget to like and share with fellow lovers of all things timeless and textured. Let's dive into a springtime haven where every corner is kissed by vintage charm and Ralph Lauren's iconic country house vision. One, the living room, a heritage of comfort and character. The living room of this timeless spring house exudes an understated grandeur that echoes Ralph Lauren's country home's sophistication. With rich, vintage-inspired textures like worn leather, aged woods, and floral tapestry, the space invites you to sink into comfort. A soft palette of moss greens, warm taupes, and faded florals sets the tone, creating a refined yet approachable environment that evokes nostalgic afternoons and fireside conversations. Anchored by a stone fireplace and layered with antique brass lamps, the room harmonizes rustic countryside energy with vintage elegance. Classic wingback chairs and a reclaimed wood coffee table tell stories of tradition and heritage. Every detail, from weathered textiles to delicately patterned drapes, contributes to the sophisticated Ralph Lauren feel, one where luxury whispers through the charm of yesteryear. Two, the kitchen, where rustic elegance meets vintage simplicity. In the heart of this spring home, the kitchen becomes a canvas of timeless charm. Here, Ralph Lauren's country house influence is deeply felt through vintage cabinetry, open shelving with antique dishware, and the soft gleam of copper pots hanging above a marble-topped island. The atmosphere is simultaneously functional and romantic, inviting you to slow down and savor the art of simple living. Aged brass fixtures, checkered floor tiles, and vintage patterned tea towels bring the Ralph Lauren aesthetic full circle. The blend of soft spring tones, pale sage, ivory, and faded rose with heirloom kitchenware makes this room a storybook nook of rustic sophistication. It's not just a kitchen, It's a place of legacy and warmth where vintage textures create the soul of the home. Three, the bedroom, quiet luxury in bloom. The bedroom in this spring house captures a dreamlike balance between tranquility and refinement, echoing the Ralph Lauren country style in every thread and frame. Vintage floral fabrics, linen-covered headboards, and distressed wood side tables are arranged with deliberate softness, allowing the textures to do the talking. Every element feels curated from another era, timeless, delicate, and richly layered. A muted spring palette wash lavender, creamy whites, and hints of faded gold wraps the room in a cocoon of quiet luxury. Embroidered cushions, lace drapes, and antique mirrors reflect a deep appreciation for heritage. This bedroom is a serene ode to classic countryside living, blending elegance with warmth in a way only Ralph Lauren's vision of vintage textures can achieve. Four, the bathroom, elegance behind closed doors. The bathroom doesn't shy away from joining the narrative of this timeless spring home. Framed by beadboard paneling and encaustic floor tiles, the space breathes Ralph Lauren's country charm. A clawfoot tub stands proudly against soft sage walls, while vintage sconces cast a golden glow onto marble countertops. Here, sophistication thrives in subtlety and detail. Delicate monogram towels, a weathered apothecary cabinet, and floral wallpaper contribute layers of vintage charm. Every corner of the bathroom is designed with purpose, where classic textures and antique finishes weave together elegance and intimacy. It's a quiet, personal sanctuary that extends the home's theme of rustic refinement into every inch. Five, the dining room, a scene from a country manor. The dining room serves as the soul of hospitality in this timeless home, with a worn farmhouse table that carries generations of stories. Crystal stemware and hand-painted china sit gracefully atop lace runners, bringing together the rawness of rustic textures and the precision of Ralph Lauren's country elegance. It's a setting made for long spring dinners and meaningful conversations. Weathered high-backed chairs, an iron chandelier, and a vintage rug underfoot create a symphony of vintage textures that feel both curated and naturally lived in. This space captures the essence of a refined countryside manor, timeless, elegant, and filled with heritage. The springtime light filtering through linen curtains completes a room designed for comfort and sophistication. Six. The entryway, first impressions with lasting charm. The entryway sets the tone with a charming first impression that speaks volumes of the Ralph Lauren-inspired aesthetic. With vintage botanical prints, a distressed console table, and woven baskets, the space blends practicality and poetry. The walls, painted in creamy neutrals, welcome guests with a whisper of spring freshness and the warmth of old-world textures. A vintage umbrella stand, antique coat hooks, and a floral runner rug enhance the subtle storytelling of the entry. It's a curated gallery of timeless elegance, wrapped in countryside comfort. From the very first step inside, this spring house offers a journey through design that celebrates heritage, beauty, and the enduring charm of Ralph Lauren country home's sophistication. Seven. The home office, vintage sophistication meets purpose. The home office in this timeless spring house blends productivity with an air of elegant antiquity, channeling Ralph Lauren's refined yet rustic style. A stately leather chair, a rich mahogany desk, and a collection of antique books ground the space in a quiet sense of purpose. Natural textures like aged wood and linen curtains offer warmth that encourages creativity and calm. Brass desk lamps and vintage equestrian artwork adorn the walls, capturing Ralph Lauren's deep appreciation for heritage and structure. Every piece, from the distressed Persian rug to the worn pencil cups, feels intentionally chosen to elevate the room into a sophisticated sanctuary of thought. It's a working space with the soul of a study from another time. Eight. The Sunroom, a light-filled garden escape. The sunroom blossoms with springtime serenity, bringing together nature and interior design in classic Ralph Lauren fashion. Wicker seating, botanical prints, and light floral textiles offer a charming blend of old-world charm and breezy countryside elegance. Large paned windows let in dappled sunlight, creating a warm cocoon of vintage textures and garden views. Potted ferns, antique side tables, and floral cushions in soft pastels turn this sunroom into an everyday retreat. The gentle color palette of spring greens and weathered whites speaks to Ralph Lauren's love for understated sophistication. It's not just a room, it's a breath of fresh air steeped in timeless beauty. Nine. The hallway, a passage framed in history. Often overlooked, the hallway in this spring home becomes a gallery of vintage storytelling. With Ralph Lauren's country home influence, the space is adorned with antique frames, sepia photographs, and wall sconces that cast a nostalgic glow. A faded runner underfoot leads you on a journey that feels both intimate and majestic. Wainscoting in muted tones and oil paintings of countryside landscapes create a sense of movement and memory throughout the corridor. The vintage textures continue with distressed console tables holding classic books and dried spring florals. Even in transition, Ralph Lauren's timeless aesthetic transforms this hallway into a rich design experience. "10. The guest room, refined comfort for company. The guest room mirrors the grace of a boutique countryside inn, offering guests a timeless sanctuary steeped in Ralph Lauren's signature elegance. Quilted coverlets, monogrammed linens, and aged brass fixtures evoke hospitality wrapped in vintage refinement. It's an invitation to slow down, rest, and admire the finer details. Subtle patterns and antique-style furnishings enhance the room's welcoming atmosphere, while floral wallpaper and time-worn wood beams echo springtime heritage. The textures layered and lived in reflect the Ralph Lauren country aesthetic, luxurious, but grounded in comfort and charm. It's a space where guests instantly feel at home. (11) The Mudroom, practical beauty in vintage form. Even the mudroom is elevated into a work of art in this timeless spring house. Inspired by Ralph Lauren's ability to combine practicality with elegance, the space features reclaimed wood benches, woven baskets, and cast iron hooks. It's a rustic entrance point layered with charm and authenticity. Tiled floors and aged stone tones and beadboard walls frame a utility space that still feels luxurious. The textured thick canvas totes, leather boots, and linen-covered storage blend seamlessly into the Ralph Lauren design philosophy. In this spring home, even everyday rituals become romantic. (12) The Library Nook, literary warmth with countryside soul. Tucked between rooms lies a library nook that wraps you in intellectual and aesthetic comfort. Stacked with well-worn books, vintage globes, and a tufted velvet chair, the space echoes the Ralph Lauren countryside gentleman's study rich in thought and texture. A reading lamp with an aged brass base completes the scene. Floor-to-ceiling bookshelves and a woven Quilleen rug add layers of vintage elegance, while botanical sketches and equestrian motifs bring that signature Ralph Lauren countryside narrative. It's a quiet place to pause, reflect, and feel surrounded by timeless knowledge and timeless beauty. 13. The outdoor patio, garden grace meets vintage leisure. The outdoor patio flows effortlessly from the interior, bringing Ralph Lauren's signature rustic elegance into the open air. Wrought iron furniture, striped cushions, and vintage lanterns set the stage for spring evenings under the stars. The textures are tactile and lived in, perfect for casual yet refined gatherings. 'A stone fireplace, potted lavender, and woven throws infuse the space with comfort and character. This outdoor room feels like a countryside escape, wrapped in the same timeless charm that defines the interior. It's where vintage elegance meets the gentle breeze of a spring garden. 14. The laundry room, effortless function with vintage finesse. The laundry room in this timeless spring home transforms utility into elegance, echoing Ralph Lauren's ability to elevate the everyday. With vintage wire baskets, glass canisters, and creamy cabinetry, it's a space where simplicity is made beautiful. A farmhouse sink and aged wood countertop infuse the room with rustic charm and refined function. 'Textured linen curtains, antique ironing boards, and handwoven rugs bring softness to the space, proving even laundry can feel luxurious. The muted tones and worn finishes create an atmosphere of calm and heritage. In true Ralph Lauren fashion, the design finds grace and purpose, making the mundane feel meaningful. 15. The nursery, whispers of spring in a vintage cradle. The nursery glows with gentle spring light, wrapping new life in the comforting arms of vintage design. Inspired by Ralph Lauren's delicate country sensibilities, the room features a whitewashed crib, embroidered linens, and floral wallpaper in soft pastel tones. It's a space of innocence, imagination, and timeless charm. A plush rocking chair, antique toys, and a weathered dresser bring stories of the past into a room made for the future. The textures here are tender quilts, lace, and soft knits layered with care. The nursery is a gentle reminder that Ralph Lauren's elegant style knows no age limit. It begins at birth and lasts a lifetime. (16) The staircase, grace in motion with rustic detail. The staircase in this spring home is more than just a transition, it's a flowing feature framed with Ralph Lauren's signature rustic elegance. Wooden treads age to perfection, wrought iron spindles, and a faded runner rug lead the way with old-world grace. It tells a story with every creak, curve, and step. Gallery-style portraits, antique sconces, and small resting nooks with floral arrangements make the stairwell feel alive with personality. Every detail reflects the timeless aesthetic of Ralph Lauren's country home vision, layered, lived in, and always beautiful in motion. (17) The attic loft, hidden romance in vintage layers. Tucked beneath the eaves, the attic loft becomes a secluded hideaway filled with nostalgic elegance. Inspired by Ralph Lauren's romantic take on vintage design, the space features mismatched floral patterns, faded trunks, and a window bench bathed in sunlight. It's an escape, quiet, cozy, and filled with timeless wonder. Exposed beams, worn quilts, and vintage lace curtains drape the loft in softness, while books, keepsakes, and old maps lend soul to the surroundings. This attic isn't forgotten, it's remembered and reimagined. Ralph Lauren's vision gives it life as a dreamy refuge filled with storybook textures. Conclusion: a home where time stands still. Through every room, from sunlit patios to hidden lofts, this timeless spring house has shown us the quiet elegance of Ralph Lauren's country home inspiration. It's a place where vintage textures speak louder than trends, and every detail carries meaning. Sophistication and soul come together in a way that makes each space feel like a page from a cherished novel. Thank you for joining us here at Captivating Home. If this journey through timeless textures and vintage elegance inspired you, be sure to subscribe, like, and share the charm. Drop a comment below and let us know which room made your heart skip. Until next time, stay captivated.